Welcome to Body Efficiency Training, and in this video we're going to be working on a little exercise I call the power stance. And actually I've taken the name from the movie School of Rock with Jack Black, and there's a moment in there where he says assume the stance, this is the power stance, or something like that. But it's actually a very, very good exercise, and it's an extension of my dynamic standing exercise, or it's part of that exercise. So if you're standing around, waiting around, you've got nothing to do, you can always do this exercise or work towards it. You might not do the full one, you might only stretch up like this momentarily, but you've got to work your structure and your alignment at all times. So standing around is the time when you should be working on your spinal alignment, and this is a good way of doing it. So you lock out the legs straight, you squeeze the glutes, so you're pushing your pelvis forward, your legs are slightly apart and your toes are pointing slightly outwards. Now you can do this at various distances. You can do it quite close and quite far apart. See how you feel. You get a different stress in your body different ways. But you're trying to even out a stretch. You're trying to create a stretch in your body. And then you lift up your shoulders and your rib cage and you hold your hands behind your head and pull the elbows back so you really open up the chest in front. But at the same time as you open up the chest in front, you've got to pull in the stomach, the TA muscle, pull in the belly, so that you've got a counteraction to that lift and stretch. You're also pulling in tight at the front. So there's a dynamic tension in your torso and your whole spine. You need to pull in the belly, the TA muscle, transversus abdominis muscle. This is the one that pulls the navel, the belly button to the spine. And you're squeezing your glutes, you're pushing your pelvis forward, but you're not tilting it under. You've still got a lumbar arch. So you want a little arch in your lumbar. And here I'm just loosening up for a second, twisting left and right. And again, see, I've got a lumbar arch. I'm sitting slightly down, so it's like my bottom is projecting backwards a little bit, like I'm trying to sit on a chair, and I'm allowing the bounce and the spring to be in the hips. And this is another little arm waving exercise. Now these you may or may not do in public, but you can do them momentarily. And this little loosen up, shaken up, and shift your weight from hip to hip. So if you're standing around, you can find these little movements to practice just while you're standing around and no one will really notice. Now here we're doing it a bit more stronger. We're moving into a horse riding stance. So you can see the power stance is an easy version of the horse riding stance. Your legs are locked straight and you're on the ball of the feet in the power stance. And here you're still on the ball of the feet, heels, the pressure's on the front, but you're projecting your bottom out and the knees are slightly bent. And the trick is to try and take the pressure off the knees. You're trying to feel the stretch in the hips. So you're opening the hips at the front, you're twisting the knees out, you're squeezing the glutes, pushing the pelvis forward, but you're also tilting it back like you're sitting on a chair. So you've got a stretch in the hips at the front and a stretch in the hips at the back. And then you're lifting up the rib cage and shoulders, holding the arms up at shoulder height and pulling the TA muscle, the stomach in. So you tilt the sternum slightly up, so there's a lumbar arch, the rib cage is open, but you keep pulling the belly in, the TA muscle, and the obliques at the side. And then you try and breathe deeply into the back of the ribs. So this is called embracing the tree. And you can see how it builds from that little power stance. So you start off with the power stance and then you can gradually work down into this slightly stronger, more dynamic stance. And you can also twist a little bit left and right to activate the obliques. But you can see how I've got the S curve of the spine, and then you can finish off with a nice deep breath, a big circle up and down. So standing around in this power stance is very good. You can feel a good connection to the ground, you can feel a good alignment of your spine, and you can practice it whenever you're out and about and you've got nothing else to do. Okay, look forward to seeing you in the next video.